Hi guys, it's Will Harlow here, sciatica specialist physiotherapist who's behind Overcome Sciatica. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the reason your mid-back, so around here, can cause sciatica when walking, and more importantly, what you can do to fix it. Let's dive into it. If you've suffered from sciatica for any length of time, you probably found that when you're walking, your sciatica often gets worse. Now this is extremely common and it happens to a lot of people, and it can be for a variety of different reasons. Some people might find their sciatica is worse when they're walking because they have a disc bulge and that's aggravating it, and others might find that the muscles just get tighter around their back and around their glutes, and then that has a knock-on effect in the leg, and that causes their sciatica to get worse when they walk. Now there is actually a very, very common but also poorly understood reason why your sciatica will often be worse when you're walking, and it has to do with your mid-back or your thoracic spine, as the medical profession terms it. So let me just explain that to you now. Your mid-back is basically the area from your shoulder here all the way down to probably around the narrowest part of your waist. So you've got 12 thoracic vertebrae, and we term them T1 all the way down to T12. Now underneath them you've got your lumbar vertebra, which makes up your lower back, and you've got 5 of those, okay? Now if we talk about the thoracic vertebra and then the lumbar vertebra, they have a lot of similarities, but one of the big differences between them is the fact that they move in slightly different ways. In your lower spine, in your lumbar vertebra, you don't actually have very much rotation. So there isn't much swiveling movement going on down there, okay? However, in the mid-back or the thoracic vertebra, you have a lot more rotation. So if you stand facing a mirror and you start to turn, you will notice that in your lower back, there isn't actually much turning that's going on. And if you see quite a lot of turning, it's probably because you're swiveling your hips. Now, if you keep your hips completely still when you turn, you can probably feel that all the movement is coming from your mid and upper back rather than your lower back. And studies have confirmed this. Studies show that the mid-back, each vertebra, so remember there's 12 of them, has about 20 odd degrees of rotation, okay? So there's a lot more rotation in the upper back than in the lower back. So what does this mean for walking? Well, if you think about the way we walk, when we walk and we take a step forward, if you step forward with your left leg, your right arm swings, right? So for us to be able to step forward and swing the arm, there's got to be some rotation of the trunk that occurs at the same time. Now, in someone who's fit and well with a perfect posture, who's walking well without pain, you get a rotation of the thoracic spine as you walk, okay? Now, for many of us in the population, just due to poor posture or sitting for a long period of time or pain, or just the fact that we don't use it very often, we actually get very limited mid and upper back rotation. So we end up stiffer. We can't rotate as well, okay? We lose that ability quite quickly if we don't practice it. So what happens if you're walking and you've lost the ability to rotate your mid-back? Well, to put it simply, somewhere else has got to pick up the slack. And the area that picks up the slack is often the lower back, so it tries to rotate even though it really can't do it very well, and that can irritate everything around the area, or your hips, and then you can end up with hip problems. And we know that the hips are very heavily related to sciatica too. So if you end up with the hips or the lower back trying to compensate for your loss of rotation up here, then you can end up making your sciatica worse as you're walking. Now, luckily, there are ways we can fix this. It takes a bit of hard work at home and a few exercises, but I'm going to share them with you today. So if you feel stiff in your upper back and you think that that could be contributing to your sciatica when walking, watch these exercises, give them a try at home, and hopefully it will improve your symptoms too. Welcome back, guys. I'm going to show you an exercise that you can use for 2 or 3 minutes every day, and especially before you go out for a walk, to improve your upper back rotation and hopefully decrease the pain of your sciatica while you're walking. It's going to take some practice because most people who have this stiffness in their upper back It's been a product of many years of poor posture and not moving it correctly. So you're not going to fix this overnight, all right? It's going to take a number of weeks before you start to notice a difference. But the plus side of this is just 2 or 3 minutes of effort each day should go a long way to making your walking much more comfortable. Let's have a look at the exercise now. So for this exercise, you're going to start off on an all-fours position. Now this position does tend to be reasonably comfortable for most people with sciatica, okay? So you're going to start off like this, either on the floor or on your bed. Now what you're going to do next is your hips and your back aren't going to move, okay? Your lower back is going to stay still. What you're going to do first of all is you're just going to test that you're happy to take one hand off the bed and then test that you're happy to take the other one off. And you'll feel that you have to slightly shift your weight as you take a hand off. When you're comfortable to do that, the next thing I want you to do is take a hand off and I want you to keep your pelvis level and I want you to reach through the gap as if you're trying to grab something and then come back. And then you're going to try the other side. So see, my pelvis is very steady. I'm using my mid back to reach and then I'm going to come back. So you reach, keep your pelvis steady, just rotate the shoulders, try and bring the shoulder right through, and then come back. And again, reach, and come back. Now, as you're doing this, you might notice you get some clicks or pops in your upper back. That's nothing to worry about at all, and it's actually quite helpful for what we're trying to achieve. So if that happens, don't worry about it at all. Now, like I said before, try this for 2 or 3 minutes in a row. So you're just going to reach through, come back, reach through, come back, either before you walk or just pick a time of day where you can do it consistently every day. So there we have it, guys, a great exercise that you can use to improve the mid-back or the thoracic spine mobility in your own back, so you can start walking without having to rely on the lumbar spine or the hips for rotation. Now this should improve your sciatica when you're walking after about 3 or 4 weeks of consistent work for a couple of minutes a day. If you've liked this video and you've enjoyed it and you found it useful, if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference to the reach for Overcome Sciatica and the amount of people we can help. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you share this post to your friends or in a community of other people suffering from sciatica who you feel could benefit from this video. The other thing to do is to check out our Total Recovery Program if you haven't already. It's a complete 8-week plan of care which shows you exactly what you need to do from start to finish if you have sciatica and you're looking for a way out, being entrapped, being locked in chains because of this sciatica that's been bothering you for months or maybe even years. It will show you a step-by-step method you can use to get yourself better and get yourself back to the things you enjoy. If you want to check that out, there should be a link for that in the description and you can have a look and register your interest today. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.